Delight, Dynamite Delight. Now, if you didn't notice, because I am going to add it, I decided to bring back a little bit of an oldie but a goodie. That intro was the very first intro I made for Dynamite. That was the first one. Of course, I took off the rest of the video because there's several people that are not there anymore, like Big Swole is not there, and a few other people that was in that original video intro. But the beginning was pretty good, so I decided, bring it back. Now, I don't know if I'm going to keep it, but I thought for the 5-year anniversary, I thought I would bring back the very first intro I made for Dynamite. Now, you see the title, and I want to make this very clear. This is the truth. This show had a lot of mistakes. A lot. And I'm going, really? You went this far. And even the overrun. Really? I'm like, why do this now? Why even do this when you know no one's going to believe it? At least those who notice. As great as these matches were, and many of them were very good, really? I'm like, what a waste. It felt like some of this stuff was a big waste. Others were okay. But I'm like, why would you go in this direction knowing full well there's a lot of people's not going to buy it because not only is it so close to Wrestle Dream that no one's going to believe that you would actually pull the trigger on it at these certain times. Now, let's start the International Championship, Will Ospreay versus a Ricochet. Now, I want to make this very clear. I made a video back in 2017 before Ricochet went to NXT. I did. I know I did. And that was the video that happened in New Japan Pro Wrestling when these two met one another one-on-one. Now, of course, they met each other multiple times in tag and maybe about 8 times by the time that happened. But still, it was a match that Meltzer said was beyond a 5-star. It was a 7-star match. Now, for me personally, I felt it was a good match, but it wasn't something amazing. It was good for the high flying, well, as far as I can remember. But as someone who cares more about a more rounded type of pro wrestling match that doesn't have a problem having a high flying in it, but it was all high flying and all spectacle, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. Now you get this match here, which I'm like, there's only 2 ways this is going to end. Either Ricochet is going to win, which will make no sense before Wrestle Dream, or Will Ospreay is going to win, which will make no sense by Wrestle Dream. And I did not think they would actually do a time rundown. Maybe a count out, but I did not expect them to have a double pin. That one pissed off the fans a lot. They didn't expect it. And to be honest, I'd rather they didn't even do it. Now, I know people can say, well, what happened in the beginning when Will was talking to Don and Kyle left? And then you can see Kateska still there, not liking Will at all. And then after the match was over, he beat the crap out of both of them. Well, there's only one thing that's going to be. It might be a triple threat. Will, Ospreay, I'm getting the words mixed up. You see, like, I wanted Will Ospreay to have a moment with Ricochet. A well-crafted moment that didn't need to happen here. That didn't need to even have a match yet. You could have let at least Ricochet start getting some storylines under his belt before you actually put him against Will. But you just put him against Will. And with the storyline that Will has barely had anything with, because now it looks like they might finally pull the trigger on Will Ospreay dealing with the Don Callis family and finally Kateska, who finally beat the crap out of him. We don't know if Don had green-lighted it or not. Finally, they did this that I feel is months overdue. They should have done this more than a few months ago, but they did not. So it's like, really now, at Wrestle Dream, you may either have a triple threat, which I think they're going to go there, but we have until, I believe they're going to do one on Tuesday. I think they will have Dynamite on Tuesday because Wednesday is going to be, I think, a playoff. I can't remember who they go. I think it might be something on Wednesday. I can't remember right now offhand, but still. Moving on. what did we really get for Juice Robinson and Hangman Page? The return of Jay White. Let's make this clear. This wasn't about Juice really getting revenge and seeing that he came out with the belt from the last match, and let me give it to you like this. Was this well done enough to bring in Jay White? Yes. Did it really do anything special for Juice Robinson? No. Did it make I really like Adam Page. I think they're doing a really good thing with him. But do I believe he needs to go up against Jay White? No. He should be somewhere else. He should be up more further in the card than our return Jay White. But will they have a good match? Of course they will. Counting on how well Jay has recovered. But still. Now, before I get any further, I have to say this. If anybody asked me about Taz, I did find out about Taz. When they were in Pittsburgh, he was attacked at a parking lot. Well, the parking lot where they got all their gear and equipment and everything there. And now I saw what happened. While the show was going on, I did some checking to see was there any new information about Taz. The most he said was that he was attacked in the parking lot. He went back to his doctor because they destroyed his leg. So that means the knee that he was having problems with. Because you guys know, Taz has a problem with his legs, his knees. I believe one of his knees is really bad. Whoever it was attacked him and fucked up his leg, his left leg. So now he's home. Do not know how bad this is. He may have to have surgery, possibly again, because there's a possibility he had laparoscopic on one of his knees because he was having a knee problem. And if it was the same knee, they may have to go and do full surgery on that knee. I'm just saying, this is my speculation. I have no proof. Just, I wanted to let you guys know. Next. Let me give it to you like this. What did we get? I'm like, look at Selena Deeps. You look at Britt Baker. What are these two women doing? Now, of course, Selena Deep is dealing with Queen Aminata, and it's understandable. But what is Britt Baker doing? Is she going to be the next challenger for Mariah May, who was at ringside? Probably. But the kicker here is there's no build. And then hearing that right now, that Mia Shirakawa teamed up with Toni Storm at, I believe, Shimmer. And you're like, okay, why did they mention that? Why? I didn't need to hear that Toni Storm is wrestling somewhere else when she should be away for a while. We don't need to know anything about her. You bring her back, you see I'm getting angry. You bring her back making it mean something. But no, you actually say she went to Shimmer working with Mia Shirakawa and they're saying we don't know what's going on with her. Well, you do because she went to Shimmer. And we didn't need that. Unless you're going to show footage of her at Shimmer, you should never mentioned her. It was stupid. Was a good match though, but still I'm going to say this. When you look at this situation, when it comes to Selena Deep dealing with Queen Aminata, I understand it. They're trying to get her over, Queen Aminata. I like her. She's still green, but she's not bad. She's doing pretty good for, I think, 2 years in the business. But she needs work. And then you got Britt Baker, who really hasn't been doing that much. And yes, if anybody is forgetting about the allegations internally in AEW that Britt Baker is a severe bitch that is causing trouble. And I'm not saying it's true or not. Seeing her working now with a Mariah May, possibly, this close to Wrestle Dream, what does that tell you? Guys, when you see what's going on with Britt, and now all of a sudden that they're kind of teasing her working with a Mariah May with only 1 week left, and if she gets a match with Mariah May less than not even a week, a few days before Wrestle Dream, shows they have not been really focusing on her. That she has gone from here to here. Because if she meant something and they knew how to book, they would have done it weeks ahead of time. But if she gets a shot at that title, this Tuesday, talking about what was the Belt, what is it? Belt Tuesday, I believe that's what they're calling it. I think it's Tuesday. I think they're going to be doing Tuesday, not Wednesday, like I said. If they get her to do a title match, either that Tuesday, which I don't think they're going to do, or Wrestle Dream, which is more than a few days away, shows 100% flat out they're not focusing on her, because they should have built her up better than this. I'm just saying. Private Party destroying the Iron Savages. Really. I would have liked to see the Private Party destroy a smaller team first. And then another smaller team first. And another smaller team first. After brother... Let me give it to you like this. When you look at Quinn and Cassidy, and you see Cassidy getting his hand smashed up by Moxley, instead of spending the next couple of weeks, maybe a month, building him up, and Quinn to really be just, we're tired of this. We're not fucking around anymore. We're going to do this, and we're going to take those titles. It feels so rushed. And you're willing to sacrifice the Iron Savages for this, guys who are way bigger than them, and you destroy the Iron Savages in such a short amount of time in that match. It doesn't make Private Party look really dominant. They don't feel dominant because there has been no time to build them. And now they say they want the Bucks. And now the Bucks come out. The Bucks say simply, we'll give you a shot. But then you get Jack Perry coming out, whooping their butt. And then Sabata, Jack Perry, who just came in a little while before and was talked to by Sabata by phone, saying, I want a shot at your title, and says, and beats him up before anything else. You got your shot. This is what we get. And I don't feel it from Private Party because it's been so rushed. And when you hear Matt 100% say the truth that we have limited matches, limited shows to do. We're not wasting it here. That's not a lie. That's the truth. And it shows that they're so constrained because the Bucks don't do that much work that much now. Next to them working in the back, they don't do that many shows anymore in the ring. They don't. So it feels crunched. And I'm not for this. This is me. I don't know about anybody else. Maybe they're loving it. Maybe they're not. I don't know. I'm just telling you my feelings. Next. Let's go to what I felt about the new TV deal. Got to talk about it. New TV deal. They are going to be on TBS and TNT. $150 million, I checked. They're getting out of this entire deal $150 million. Really good. They're also going to be, and it was also in another article, that they're going to be showing more of the backlog of Dynamite and probably ROH on HBO Max or Max. They'll be showing a good amount of their catalog on Max for their streaming deal. So they're doing pretty good. They're not like in any trouble or anything. But with what's been going on with attendance, it's a big question. Can they continue loading up those arenas? Now, this arena looked pretty full. Not saying it was completely full, but it was pretty full, so it looked good. But they need to straighten this mess out. But it is good to see that they do have a TV deal. For next 2, 3, or 4 years? I didn't see how many years it was. Possibly more than 3 years, I believe. 2 or 3 easily. Well, not 2 years. More than 3 years easily. But they didn't show it in the article. My guess is going to be another 5 years. If it's not another 3, maybe it's 5. But it's going to count on what the deal is. Let's move on. Now, let me give it to you like this. The final match. And I know I'm glazing over. Well, look, I can easily talk what happened with Chris Jericho and Mark Briscoe, but I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave it because I want to see what they're going to do either Tuesday or Wednesday with that situation with them, because this is extremely rushed and it doesn't feel 100% important. So I want to see what they're going to do next week with that. They got to do something. But let me give it to you like this. the final match of the night. Title versus title. When you see Okada versus Bryan Danielson. I am telling you this right now. I am telling you what we got here was stupid. This was stupid. If you had Okada just go up against Bryan Danielson and it was for his title, they could have done the same thing and they didn't need to do a full overrun. They went 32 minutes over 10 o'clock. Many people would say, that's great. Don't you see? They're giving us more content. No, they're giving us dumb content. Because there was not 1 second in my mind that I believed that Okada was going to win. And when they said that the Continental title rules are still enabled, that for the first 20 minutes, Okada's title is up for grabs. But after that 20 minutes, it's only Bryan Danielson's title only. It's not Okada and Bryan Danielson. It's only Bryan Danielson. I knew it wasn't going to happen. I wish they only done the 20-minute time limit. I wished. And if they did an overrun, it could have been easy within 5 to 8 minutes. 32 minutes for a match that, not saying was bad, for a match that I knew was going to have only one outcome. Okada wasn't losing his title, and Bryan Danielson was going to win the match. What I expected from this entire situation was what the Blackpool Combat Club was going to do. Because that's what I was wondering was going to happen. And we finally got the answer because Okada was distracted. Roll up. We got Bryan Danielson winning. Okada nailing Bryan Danielson because he got angry that he lost again. And clearly with this situation, we got the entire club coming out but Wheeler Yuta. And as Bryan Danielson's held up in his arms, what did we get? We get... It is so much of a tease that we're wondering, is Shane McMahon going to be part of the roster or not? Because it's made very clear, I didn't need to do this. This is what Mox was talking about. I didn't need to do this, but I have no choice. This has to happen. I don't want to do it. If I really wanted to end you, I would have ended you a long time ago. This is not about me. This is about something else. So it's still being teased that it could be Shane McMahon. We still don't know. It's still a big question. Could it be? Yes. But is it? I don't know. And then Wheeler Yuta comes out with a hammer, facing down the Blackpool Combat Club, fighting with a Claudio who did swing at him once, but pretty much didn't want to hit him because he's not against him. When you see the opening of the show, you see them talking to Wheeler Yuta, saying, we're not against you, kid. We're not against you. If you need to talk, I'm right here. And that is Claudio. And now what do we get? Next week, Tuesday, I believe it's Tuesday. Title Tuesday, I think that's it. Title Tuesday. We're going to have a match with Wheeler Yuta and Bryan versus Pac and Claudio Castagnoli. It feels like a big question where they're going to go. It will be a big question how far they're going to go with Wheeler Yuta, because this is also about Wheeler. Wheeler Yuta this is the first time Wheeler Yuta has ever been focused on by AEW in a way that is completely different than what you've ever seen from him. Compared to what he did when he was in Best Friends and now the Blackpool Combat Club. And now when he's really fighting against the club, will they really do something with him? Will they put a trigger on him and make him really mean something? More than just an ROH champion, either a pure champion or a TNT champion or a world champion. Will they do something with him? Don't know. Just me. Peace.